But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned. If this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you. I hope my voice is coming good and clear. Please invite your friends. And today let us do some study and do research together. You know, Muslims, they brag a lot about things like Islam forbid alcohol. But if we go to the Quran, we will find that the God of Islam, he praised alcohol. In fact, he promised them rivers of alcohol. And what difference is going to be making if it's in heaven or on earth? However, even in earth, he claimed that alcohol is a miracle from Allah. Yet we hear Muslims speaking about how Islam forbid alcohol. And if you go and read the story, we will see that Muhammad almost died. And in the end of his life, two Muslims, they fought together. And at this moment, Muhammad, he cannot drink alcohol no more because he is dying. And whatever he drink or eat, he throw up. So in chapter 16, verse number 67, it says, and from the fruits of the palm trees and the grape, and this is, you know, this is false translation, but anyway, you drive a strong drink. It doesn't say strong drink, it says, a drink which is alcohol will make you go drunk. Literally, that's what it says in Arabic. وَمِن ثَمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ وَالْأَعْنَابِ تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكْرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا. So the Quran saying you take from it to be drunk, you drink from it to be drunk, and it's a good privilege and good deeds for you and good benefit. And then the Muslim between two brackets, they say to you, this is before the order of forbidden of the alcohol drink. And here you ask yourself, I mean, do this God knew that alcohol is bad at this moment or not? So if alcohol is bad, as the Muslim they claim, and this is why Allah he forbid it, why he is praising it here, and not only that, he says this is a sign for people who have wisdom. So here we see that obviously the reason for forbidding the alcohol have nothing to do really with being bad or good. It was because people, they start laughing at Muslims who they pray and they are drunk. And then we find Muhammad, he make a verse about it. And as usual, Muhammad, he said, this is Allah, you know. We go open the verse. In chapter 4, verse number 43, it says, O who you believe, approach not the prayer when you are drunken. And here you ask yourself, I mean, what religion is this religion is? See, this is the religion in the beginning, a few followers, and those are the disciples of Muhammad. They are drunk, and now they are standing in the mosque, and they are filling up heart. And then those who they are not Muslims, like the Christians, the Jews, or whatever, they are laughing at such a religion. The followers of it are a bunch of drunk, and Allah never say anything. Muhammad never say anything. And then if you go and read the interpretation for the verse, or the reason for the verse to release, you will see how horrible it is. And then you ask the Muslim, they will say to you, oh, you know, Islam came in stages. So those people, they drink a lot. You cannot tell them right away, stop drinking. So what they are saying to us, that their God is weak and he's hypocrite. So if somebody doing anything wrong, we cannot tell him right away, stop do it. You know, slowly until we take control, and then we force. But this is telling you that Muhammad is a false prophet from the beginning, because if this is wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter. And we just saw a previous verse where Allah, he praised alcohol, speak about it in a very good way. And then this God, he go farther, and then he promised the Muslims not only alcohol, you will have rivers of alcohol. When you go to heaven, you will not have a bottle of wine. No, you will have a river of wine. Running river, you know, of water and wine. River of milk, river of water, and rivers of wine. And this wine will be very delicious. And what if I drink wine in earth? Am I going to not go to heaven in Islam? No, you go to heaven. Muhammad, he says, the one who drink wine in heaven, in earth, he don't drink it in heaven. That's all. So if you, and the funny, he drank it in earth himself. So are you going to drink it, Muhammad? So here we see that this religion is not really a religion. Muhammad, he started associating with the Christians, and he noticed that he have a lot of stupid things in his cult, including even worshipping the oneness or the oneness of God. If you remember before, we saw a Jewish man. He saw Muhammad teaching the Muslims wrong and shirk, which mean you know, is not a person who believes in one God. You know, he's a polymath. You know, like his religion is not really about oneness of God. It's about they associate God with God, or associate other with God. So a Jewish man was walking by, and he said to the Prophet, "You are teaching your people shirk. Okay, you are not a monotheist. You know, you are polytheist." So, and he said to him, you are setting up a revival to Allah, to God. The Muslim, they say he said Allah, but the Jews don't believe in Allah anyway, and associate other with him. You say whatever Allah wills, and you will, and you say by the Kaaba. The Muslims, until that moment, they swear by the Kaaba, by stones. Not by God, they swear by stones, they swear by the Kaaba. So the Prophet commanded them, if they wanted to swear an oath, to say by the Lord of the Kaaba, and to say whatever Allah will, and then you will. So here you see Muhammad from the beginning. He is trying to find, let us say, a basic for his religion. And just because a Jew, he walked by, Muhammad, he have to agree. He's wrong. Even though the accusation is horrible. Look what the accusation is. The accusation is not like you are not dressing properly. It's not like you are not sitting properly. You are not praying properly. You are sitting up reviles to Allah, and you are associating other with him. Muhammad, he did not say the Jew, you are wrong, and you know, this is not what we are teaching here. He agreed, and he did order his followers to follow the command of the Jew, because remember, this is the Jew command, not Muhammad command. And here you ask yourself, if Muhammad is a prophet, do you think Allah will wait for a second, if he is really a true God exists and Muhammad is a prophet, to wait for a Jew to walk by and school Muhammad about who is God and how to worship the oneness of God? And then we will find The stupid Muhammad in different verse in the Quran, he claimed that the Jews believe that there is a person, his name is Uzair, and he is the son of Allah. And here you see that Muhammad is a fraud and Islam is a fraud from the beginning to the end. How you accused him that they believe a person, he is Uzair, and we cannot find a single statement, you know, in the Old Testament. You can ask a Jew, even those who they hate Jesus. You will not find one ever. I don't know. This is Indonesian language now. I just switch to, yeah, because when I am not busy, I like to read books in Indonesian language. You know, I'm preparing myself to debate Somad, who want to teach us how to be so happy and so wise. So the Jews call Uzair the son of Allah, but we just saw in the hadith, which is a Sahih hadith, the Jew is schooling Muhammad how to worship God alone. And here you notice that Islam is not legitimate in anything, in the reference, in the statement, in the teaching, in the mouth statement of Muhammad, in the mouth statement of the companion of Muhammad. Everything is a fraud, because it cannot be both. It cannot be that a Jew walking by and teaching Muhammad how to worship God alone, and then the Quran says that the Jews, they worship a guy, his name Uzair, and then he continues saying, and the Christian call Christ the son of Allah. Here you see the stupidity of the Quran again, inconsistent. Because if we go to different verse in the Quran, you will see the same Abdul, aka Muhammad, he say that the Christian, they say Jesus is Allah. And you know, there's a huge difference. Right? We Christian, let us say Muhammad, he want to say that, you know, we call it the Father, you know, but we Christian, we don't say that the Messiah is the Father. We don't. So here you see how in one verse it says that the Christian, they say that Jesus is the son of Allah. In different verse, chapter 5, verse number 17, Jesus is Allah. So do you see how this is an unreliable cult? The one who made the book is an idiot. All right. Why it says a son? When it's come to Jesus, they say the son. Let me go to the verse. Hold on. Yeah, but you know, this is just a translation. This is just a Muslim translation, you know, a and the. Yeah, this is just only in English. This is not in Arabic. As we said before, never take Muslim translation for granted or to be serious. For those people, they are doing you know, sale business. You know, they cover up everything. So look what happened now. I mean, and the funny, the Quran says if this is a book made by other than Allah, you will find a lot of contradiction, correct? But as you see, this is always a contradiction. But now our topic today is about the queer. The queer. If you remember last time I spoke to, what his name? Safaraz, the guy from Pakistan. I asked him if there is any verse in the Quran says somebody is drunk, he drank, somebody is a gay, somebody is a lesbian, he will not go to heaven. He said no. Then you ask yourself, why? If being a gay is something serious. Look, you guys, Ilyas, he said, there is no contradiction in the Quran. So what we just showed you, I mean, we just finished showing the screen. One verse says that Jesus is Allah, and the other verse saying the Christian, they say he is a son of Allah. You can't be both. How you can be the son of Allah and you are Allah? And then the Abdul says to me, there's no contradiction, okay? Christian Prince, I'm telling you, okay, be careful. You are wrong. There is no contradiction. And this is how the Abdul, they refute you. That's it. The problem solved. There's no contradiction. I mean, what you can do about it? Can you do about it anything? No, you cannot. Because simply, there is no contradiction. And if Abdul, he's saying in the chat, there is no contradiction, okay, that means there is no contradiction. So why you don't solve the problem? How you can be Allah and the son of Allah in the same time? I'm waiting for your intelligence, if you have any. Drink camel urine, as the Prophet said. Maybe you can come with a solution. Because you cannot be the father and the son in the same time, you know. Otherwise, why they call you the son? Right? So this is a proof that Muhammad is an idiot. And then if we continue and we ask the Muslims, here we go, we have many Muslims in the chat. Can a single Muslim show me a verse in the Quran says that if you are a homosexual, you will go to hell? Any Muslim? Hmm? DW channel about LBTG mosque. Okay, well, we will show some example, but you know, we are not going to say Islam teach this and teach that unless Islam teach this and teach that. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to judge Islam by a Muslim. You know, that's what the Muslims do. The Muslims, they judge Christianity by me. If I do something wrong, this is, they say this is a Christianity, because they are a fraud like their prophet. But we will not do that. So let us go and try to find out what is the place of homosexuality really in Islam. I looked in some videos in YouTube just now before we go live, and I found some videos. And this is our friend Sheikh Shabir Ali. He been asked about homosexuality.
Sanctioned marriage according to the Quranic rules and dictates. And usually the marriage is between a man and a woman. So one can infer from this that homosexuality is, it seems implied that this is excluded in principle. There is a verse in the Quran which may be interpreted as referring to homosexuality in...
Did you hear maybe? Hey people, did you hear the word maybe? Maybe? So you Muslims are saying there is not a single verse in the Quran speaking about homosexuality clearly? Maybe interpreted? Maybe? Okay, what this verse says? Go ahead, Mr. Maybe.
As a prescriptive verse in Surah 4, verses number 15 and 16, where it mentions if two persons commit fahisha, which is like sexual impropriety, here, the two persons could be interpreted as a man and a woman, or grammatically it could refer to two men as well, and this is not entirely clear. But in any case, it says that if two persons commit sexual immorality, then they should both be punished, but the specific punishment is not mentioned. The story of the Prophet Lot and his people is often cited as referring to homosexual behavior, but in fact what is given in the Quran is a long list of crimes that these people have committed and for which eventually they were punished, homosexual acts only being one of those in the list of crimes that they have committed.
So can Muslims say that they have there's someone who identify with with a homosexual orientation per se?
Well, the Quran does not actually go into details about the difference between the orientation and the intimate act. And so to differentiate between the two, we must draw on modern...
Yeah. And now we have a Muslim speaking about the people of Lut, but this is a story you stole from the Old Testament, you idiot. At least bring something is from you. Secondly, if you go to the story which is in the Quran, you remember the video of Hidayat? Hidayat, he have a video about the people of Lut. So he said, your Bible in the book of Genesis. Lut, he offered his daughter. Prophet Lut, he offered his daughter. What kind of a prophet he is? But the same thing is in the Quran. Those they call them sheikhs. They flourish only when they debate people who do not know anything about Islam. Imagine if I am there and this idiot, he is making fun of what is written in the Old Testament. What will happen to him after he say that statement? This is why we say, this Islam is a religion. It can flourish only between, ignorant. A Muslim, he speak to an ignorant, and the ignorant, he do not know what Islam teach. So he can make fun of your Bible, but you don't know, because you do not know that was written, the same story written in his book, but Muhammad, he add some spices in it. So when the Quran speak about the story of Lut, let us go there. We can go to chapter Hud. Where is this is the story of Lut, supposedly, in chapter number 11. And this is what Hidayat was making fun of, that in your book, Lut, he offered his daughters instead of sleeping with the men. But here the story is distorted, as usual. However, you will find here, in the Bible, the story of Lut, Lut is not a prophet. In Islam, he's a prophet. And Lut is doing what he thinks is right. It's not God telling him, go and tell them, say this and say that, and, invite them to do that. No, this is his opinion. In the Quran, Allah supposedly is trying to fix the problem. Allah is trying to fix the problem. And always the Prophet of Allah in Islam, they are inspired by Allah. They speak not from their own. So here you ask yourself, Lut in the Old Testament, this is his opinion. You have two guests, the Quran even doesn't say to you what the story is about. I mean, the story is very funny here. If you read in here in the story, you will see how the story is messed up. Suddenly we're talking about Abraham, and then suddenly we jump to the story of Lut. In verse number 77, it says, when our messengers came to Lut, the Quran nowhere it says they are angels, but as long they are messenger of Allah, that means they are angels. He was grieved on their account and felt himself powerless to protect them. He said, this is the stressful day. And then the people, they come rushing toward him. and they had been long in habit of practicing abomination. He said, O my people, here are my daughters. They are purer for you, i.e., Mary. Here you see, you see here the hypocrisy of this Mohammedan religion. When Lut, he said the same thing, the Muslim, they laugh at it, as long as it's in the Bible. When Lut, he said the same thing in the Quran, and they add to it fabrication to marry. The whole town is outside to marry them. Do you see the stupidity? The people rush to his door. They want to break into his door. And now he's saying to them, my daughter to remarry. You see, they try to fix it. Go and read the interpretation and you will die laughing. But here you ask yourself, Allah, he is giving like inspiration to Lut to fix the problem. So now they don't have homosexuality, they sleep with the daughters. What is different is going to make anyway? Muhammad is trying to copy a story from the Old Testament, right? But they are daughters, they are females, and this will be a fornication anyway. And then, now fear Allah and cover me not with shame about my guest. So now he will not be covered by shame because they are going to sleep with his daughters, but he will be covered by shame because they will sleep with his guest. So Muhammad, as a counterfeit, always he copy a story and he add his own spice to it. And the more he add, the more the story become really stupid and very, very funny. If you read in the story here, it says that the whole town. Ja'ahu, it says here, qawmahu. You don't say qawmahu when you say the whole town. The whole town. And then they said, that we are not interested in your, your daughters. We have an interest in your guest, right? We don't want your daughters. And the story continue as we see here. And it's a funny story where Muhammad, he jumped from place to place. Suddenly he was talking about Lut. He jumped to a different person. Crazy. But look what happened here. Not a single verse in the Quran is speaking of penalty for someone is a homosexual. Not a single verse. You see, the Quran have penalty if you steal, have penalty if you do fornication, supposedly. For sure you can steal, but not from Muslim. If you steal from non-Muslims, it's okay. There's no penalty. Actually, this is your job as a Muslim to steal from non-Muslims. They call it the booty, this is like your right. But if you steal from Muslim, that is a punishment. And Muhammad, he make it severe, copying the Arab, they cut your hand. And Muhammad is a fraud again. He copied what the Arab used to practice before him, and yet he claimed that this is what God he agree with, but those are the pagan Arab as they used to do before, he do after. And if a Muslim want to say to me, this is not what the Arab do, I challenge you and I will show you the reference and you will die laughing. So what is the penalty for homosexuality in Islam? Shabil Ali, he mentioned that in Islam there is two verses, maybe they are interpreted. Muhammad Babali saying same punishment as zina. Guys, when I say to you Muslims, I don't know, even those Muslims, they know what they're talking about, or they are just a fraud like their prophet. This guy, he said, it is the same penalty as adultery. Absolutely false. And we can prove it in 2 seconds. The same punishment for adultery. Let us go to the Quran and love together. There is 2 verses in the Quran, chapter 4, verse number 15 and 16. Let us go first to number 16, which is about homosexual as men. If 2 men among you are guilty in loudness, punish them both. If they repent, amend, leave them alone. How we punish them? Let us check. And then you will see how Muslims, they are either they lie in purpose or they lie because they are ignorant like their prophet. I mean, are you telling me that the guy who posted this comment, he did not go and search in Prophet Google at least before he opened his mouth? What is the penalty? This is the Quran, and this is the interpretation by the Mohammedan scholars, and this is Tafsir al-Jalalain. It says here, if 2 of you, they do this, 2 men, then punish them both with insult and beating them with sandals. Is that the penalty for homosexual, for zina, Mr. Shish Kebab? Is that the penalty? You said it's the same penalty. Muslims, Muhammadan actually, there's nothing called Muslims. Those people, they are just following the fornicator Muhammad, the adulterist, the idolater, the homosexual, the child molester, the thief, the criminal, you name it. When they say to you something, never ever take what Muhammadan say to you as a truth, because those people in chapter 3 verse number 28 and many other chapters been ordered and commanded to lie. And this is additional proof that Islam is satanic. So while a woman or a man, if they do fornication, the penalty is to bring 4 witnesses, and this is another joke, we will talk about it later, and then we will wipe them with 80 whip. And this is according to, I mean, the Quran is a stupid book, actually. Where is the guy who said to me there's no contradiction in the Quran? Where is the guy who said to me there's no contradiction? Elias, whatever your name. This is Quran. Chapter 24, verse number 4. It says if somebody he insult women, or let's say he accused them of fornication, those people, they will be whipped 80 times. And if the woman found to be guilty, she will be whipped 100 times. Right? So look at how severe compared to both. If you accuse a woman and you could not bring 4 witnesses, and those 4 witnesses, they have to see the penis going in and out, excuse my language, and that is impossible. How in the world anyone can bring such a witnesses? I mean, your wife now sleeping with the guy next door, and now you enter the bedroom and then you ask him, please, can you stay? Because I have to call 4 friends and they have to see your penis going in and out. If the woman, excuse my language, again, she is in the top of the man and you cannot see anything, there's no proof, even if there's 10 witnesses, even if there's 100 witnesses. Muhammad, he said, they have to see it as the ink, the pen go in the inkwell. There's a story of 3 witnesses, they came. And Muhammad, he asked the first one, did you see the penis going in? He said, yes. The second one, he said, yes. The third one, he said, I saw her legs around his neck. like ears of donkey, and they were shaking. Muhammad, he said, beat them. Because now we don't have 4 witnesses to see the pen going in the inkwell. So now we have 2 witnesses who saw the penis going in. Again, excuse my language. And we have the 3rd witness. He did not see the penis. He saw her. He's on the top of her, and her legs around his neck, and her. So now we see that while the punishment of adultery is 100 whip, accusing a woman of adultery, and you could not bring 4 witnesses to see the thing going in, the penalty is 80 whip. While if a homosexual having sex with a man, the penalty is to beat them with sandals. So which one is a greater sin in Islam? Any Muslim can tell me? I just showed you from the Quran, and both are from the Quran. The Quran says if a woman she commit fornication or a man commit fornication, we whip them 100 times. If a man accuse a woman of fornication and he could not provide, even if he is the husband, he could not provide 4 witnesses seeing the porn movie in full three-dimension details, those we will beat them 80 times. But if a man having sex with a man, we insult them and we beat them with sandals. Any Muhammadan have an answer? Where is the guy he said it's the same punishment? You still alive, my friend? Not a single verse in the Quran. Not a single verse in the Quran says that this is haram. And there is a severe penalty for it. If you want to tell me the story of Lut, this is a story from the Bible. And even there, I mean, God, he punished, all human beings, all mankind, they are punished for their sin anyway. We die. The reason we die because we are sinners. Why we don't live forever? Because we are sinners. The Bible says the punishment of sin is death. Why we die now? Without being anything like doing fornication, killing, etc. You die. You will die. Even if you stay at home, you don't see anybody for the rest of your life. You will die. Why? Because this is the punishment of sin. Read the rest of the tafsir. Guys, read the rest of the tafsir. Let us read the rest of the tafsir. But if they repent of Luwat act, make amends through good action and leave them. So I did. So look at this. Why Allah in the story of Lut, which is a story from the Bible, he did not say, hey Lut, don't worry, we will insult them and beat them with sandals. Are you with me? Mr. Mansoor, he is saying, can I show you the contradiction in the Bible? That will be horrible for you, Mr. Mansoor. Are you going to show me a contradiction in the Bible of Allah? This is Mansoor. He is the smartest between the boys in the family, yet he is the only boy. He decided to change the topic because Islam is an embarrassment, and now he want to show you a contradiction in the Bible. But Mansoor, he forgot that the Bible, according to the Quran, is the book of Allah, and that is additional proof that Allah cannot be God, Because if this God, he sent the Bible and he could not protect his Bible, obviously your God is a fraud. I mean, I have a book. I am not Allah. Huh? I have many books. I challenge you to corrupt my books, brother. Can you? So how I am a person, a human, and you cannot corrupt my book, but yet Allah, he sent 124,000 messengers and all their books is screwed. That's mean Allah is screwed, because those are the books of Allah. You see, Moses is not the author of the book, because simply according to the Quran, even the Quran says Allah, he wrote the Torah, all of it by his hand to Moses. Guys, imagine how many truck Moses he need. The whole Torah is written by the hand of Allah. Brother, the whole Torah, are you sure? Yes, brother. Okay, how Moses was able to carry the book? You see, I mean, this foolish Muhammad, he hears a story from the Jews. Like the Jews, they told him that God, he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. Muhammad, he switched the 10 Commandments for all the Torah. What the heck? So now, for Moses to carry his book, he went to the mountain. Huh? And then Allah, he ordered the whole Torah and he wrote it by his hand and he told Moses, take it home. I mean, you see, this is called the entertainment of Muhammad. You know, Muhammad is the best entertainer, for he is the best joker in the town. Allah, he wrote the Torah by his hand to Moses. The Torah, are you sure, Muhammad? Yes, brother. I'm very sure. Allah, he told me. Allah never lie, brother. Yes, brother. Here we go. If we go to the hadith, just to confirm that, because the Muslim, they will say, it doesn't say that, CP. Huh? Here we go. It says he wrote for you the Torah by his hand. He wrote the Torah by his hand. You see it? Look how many times it's repeated. Look, the hadith is sahih, 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 sahih. Brother, look how many times. Look, brother, look. He wrote the Torah by his hand. Which one? The right one or the left one, brother? The Torah. Are you sure not one page of the Torah? Thank God I wasn't Moses, man, because I have to carry now like I don't know how many million trucks to go home. You know, and all of them, they are rocks. It's not like papers. You know what I mean? All of them, they are rocks, heavy duty. And now I have to take the book with me to go home. So now let us go back to our topic. So not a single verse in the Quran saying that somebody is a homosexual will go to hell. Any Muslim can tell me why? As if homosexuality is a big sin in Islam. Not a single verse in the Quran treat homosexuality equal to any other thing. Read the rest of the tafsir, you monkey. Okay, Mr. Don't talk about monkeys, because even monkeys. Oh, okay. Mr. Muhammad Babali, I want to ask you a question. If a monkey had sex with the monkey, what is the penalty? You are the one who mentioned the word monkey, remember. It's not my fault. You brought it. Is it true that if a monkey, she had sex with a monkey, he is not her husband, the punishment is death? So how come if a monkey, and she is a female, and she had sex with the guy, he have a bigger banana? I'm talking about the banana, the fruit now, don't take me wrong. How come if a monkey, she commit sin? She's a Muslim monkey, brother. Alhamdulillah. Even monkeys are Muslims. Everything convert to Islam, brother. This is the monkey. She is a Muslim female. He is the companion of the Prophet Muhammad, and this Al-Bukhari, it's a very authentic. He says, during the pre-Islamic era of ignorance, supposedly the Arab before Islam, they are ignorant, and now after Islam they became not ignorant. I saw a she monkey surrounded by a number of monkeys. They were all stoning it because it had committed illegal sexual intercourse. I too stoned it along with them. Now we go to the tafsir, which the guy he is asking us to read the rest. My friend, there is a rest? What rest? It says here, are you Muslims? Are you not? Guys, this guy is saying to me, read the rest. The verse is abrogated by prescribe of punishment if adultery is meant by load act of similarity. If homosexual intercourse is meant, I mean, here actually this is again proving to us that Islam is a fraud, because how in the world you make homosexuality equal to adultery? Are you saying to me that when Allah he made this law was wrong? Look, brother and sisters, this verse is abrogated. Show me the verse. It says this verse abrogate that verse. Go ahead. Go ahead. We have both of them now. The verse about adultery, speaking about a man and a woman, clearly. This one is speaking about men. So the verse about adultery have nothing to do with this one, because the verse about adultery is about specific gender. And let me get you barbecued again. Are you happy? Are you ready? Just to show you how stupid this religion. It says the women and the man. So how this verse will abrogate a verse about homosexuality? Does it say in the front of your eyes, the woman and the man who they do together, boom boom, take them to the room and give them a broom and bring hori butar and tell them how it's what the heck? So this is the one who will abrogate the verse about homosexuality when the verse speak about a man and a woman sleeping together. Are you there, Abdul? And why Allah want to abrogate his law? He just made the law. You see, if this law is coming after like 1,000 years, I was saying what time change, what it was legal at that time, maybe, yeah. I mean, God, he allowed the daughters of Adam to have, to sleep with their brothers, correct? So I say, okay, time change. But this is the same prophet. He go to bed, he sleep, he wake up, he come with a new law. Ah, Elias, he told us the truth. This verse fabricated. You got a point, brother? Guys, this verse is fabricated. And this is why the Muslims around the world, who they are homosexual, they challenge the Muslims. They say to them, okay, can you show us one place in the Quran it shows that will not make me go to heaven if I am one of those who do homosexuality? Can you show me? They fail. They literally fail. This is a Muslim Imam. Want to tell us something important.
That the Muslim scholar is openly homosexual and fighting for gays to be accepted in Islam.
So he's a Muslim imam, and he is debating the Muslim, trying to prove to them that, you know what, to be a gay in Islam is absolutely fine, and you are a liar.
Hello, everybody. My name is Al Farouk
Your name is what?
Kaki. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Rifai dervish. I'm a gay man. I'm
Okay. Nice to meet you.
In addition to being a Muslim woman, I am a black queer person.
Well, I'm so happy for you, and I hope that your business will flourish. So as you see, when the Muslim homosexual, they challenged the Quran, and the ones who claim that homosexuality is against Islam, the Muslims, they fail to prove it, and then they will jump to the hadith. They will jump to the hadith. The hadith says, if somebody do the act of people of Lut, kill him. But here, look how Islam is stupid. What the Muslim, they called homosexuality. They call it liwat. The Muslim, they call homosexual liwat. They use a prophet name to describe homosexuality. Do you see the stupidity? Are you getting the point? So let us say Muhammad is a prophet, right? So, and we want to describe now a lesbian. So we say Muhammad. You know, they are doing the act of Muhammad. But I mean, how you call it Lut if Lut is not the one who's doing it, you idiot? But anyway, just let it go. But here you notice that the Muslims now, the Muslim Sunni, who they try to enforce certain ideas that Muhammad is not a gay, they say to you that Muhammad, he said it clearly to kill the one who is a homosexual. But to respond to that, what is the proof that Muhammad, he said that, when all reference prove that Muhammad was a gay? Is it normal for a person to go and open the door and he was totally naked? Is it normal for a person, he is carrying stones, somebody asked him to take off his dress, and now he knew when he take off his dress in the front of men, he is totally naked? Read carefully. The Messenger of Allah was carrying along with them, his people, stones for the Kaaba, and there was a waist warper around him. And this is telling you that, you know, the Arab at that time, they don't dress like now. The Arab at that time, they dress like the Indian or people of Sri Lanka. Let me go and show you how they dress, in case you never saw them. They have a skirt. I'm trying to find an old tradition Indian. They have like a towel, you know. This picture took us to Amazon. We don't want to order it. All right. This is how the Indian, they dress. It's like a skirt for men. And this is exactly how Muhammad, he used to dress. Because the Arab, and I believe strongly, that especially the Arab in that territory, they are Indian. They are Indian. You see, many people think that when we say Arab, we are talking about an ethnic. Arab is not an ethnic. Arab is an Aramaic word, meaning the people of the desert. So whoever live in the desert, they call him Arab. So the Indian, they have a towel, they round it around their body, and this is what Muhammad was wearing. Now let us go to the hadith. So Muhammad was wearing such a thing, and then his uncle, he said to him, why you don't take off your skirt so you can walk without it easier? But Muhammad, he knew if he take off his skirt, he will be totally naked. Totally what? Naked. If we go to the hadith, let's see where is the hadith. We have it. Here we go. So the messenger of Allah was carrying along with them his people stone for the Kaaba, and there was a waist warper around him. You see here it says waist, so this is from the waist and down. His uncle Abbas said to him, "O son of my brother, if you take off the lower garment and place it in the shoulder underneath the stone, it would be better," which means it would be easier to carry. He, the Holy Prophet, took it off and placed it on his shoulder, and then he fell down unconscious. He, the narrator, said, "I never seen the Prophet naked before and after that day." So this is his witness. He never saw him naked after that day. But here you ask yourself, Muhammad, he is carrying the stone now, and he took off his skirt, and he have the skirt on his shoulder. And for sure he is not stupid. He know that he is totally naked. Why he took it off? Why his uncle asked him to take it off? The answer is very simple. Nakedness for those people and homosexuality was very normal. If you remember, the hadith says that the Arab used to go totally naked around the Kaaba. Totally, men and women. Men and women. As you see, this is Sahih Muslim. It says that when the people of Quraysh, they used to practice going around the Kaaba, they used to go in the state of nudity. The state of what? Nudity. The Kaaba was a sexual party place. If you have my book, Sex and Allah, you will see a woman and women going around the Kaaba totally naked, and one of them she was singing, and later Muhammad, he wanted to sleep with her. Muhammad, he used to go and sit around the Kaaba just to watch naked men and naked women going around. And then here you need to ask yourself, and we ask the Muslims who they are with us here, what was the religion practice at that moment which is required around the house of Allah to be naked? And why we cannot find one verse in the Quran where Allah said, never allow them to walk naked again around the Kaaba? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying? If Islam is a religion, speaking of modesty as the Muslim they claim, but as we know, Islam is against modesty. If you are for modesty, then you don't say, if I divorce my wife 3 times, you have to bring somebody else to F her. Then I can take her back. If Islam for modesty will not allow even multiple wives, if Islam for modesty will not allow the woman to give her breast to a stranger, yet she have to cover her hair. And yet if you go in the Quran, by the way, we will not find a single verse in the Quran says women, they should cover their head. It's a lie. Modesty is not exist in Islam. Was Muhammad modest? He was going around to his own son's house and he flirted with the wife when the husband was out. Is it modesty that you go to your friend? This is his son. You want to say to me his son by adoption? Doesn't matter. He is his son. That is actually make it more worse. Because Muhammad, he brought the tradition of the Arab where if somebody adopt a son, that's it. He is his son. Nobody did that before Muhammad. He go to his son by adoption, because Muhammad can't have kids. That's why the adoption happened. And properly, Muhammad, he adopted that person so he can marry him to that woman, so he can go inside the house and nobody can question him. Because obviously, this is what was happening. So he go to the house, and this is what the Muslim they say in their books. Imagine what the story really is. Remember, we are talking about person, they worship him. If you speak against him, they will kill you. So when they say that the Prophet went to the house and he saw the wife of his son standing alone at the house wearing see-through clothes, looked like Hafsa, she was sorry, Zainab, she was very into see-through clothes, bikini, and Victoria's Secret. I wish I was exist at that time. I want to go, but too bad. Guys, avoid putting my name and next to it good evening or good shalom for now, because we are in the topic now. I'm going to look at your text to see if you are maybe saying something important, but you are saying to me shalom. So avoid those you say in the beginning when we start. So the state of nudity proven to us that the Kaaba is the place of nudity. It's a sexual party temple. The black stone was always, and we can show you the reference, the black stone was always a stone where men and women, they want to have sex, they want to have babies, they go and they place their hand on the black stone. When the woman, she have a blood from her period, she go naked around the black stone, she touch her vagina, and she place her hand inside the black stone, and then she pray to Allah to fertilize her. This is why if we look at the black stone, what we will see? A shape of a vagina. We don't see a normal stone in a wall, This is what you think you will see. You will see a stone, right? No, you don't see that. You see a vagina. And by the way, even this one is additional proof that Islam is a fraud. Why? Because according to Muhammad, this stone will stay until the day of judgment to witness to what we did. And Allah, he sent this stone was white like milk. But because the sin of mankind, and this is when the women, those people, they believe that when the woman, she cannot have children, obviously because she committed a sin. So when she touched her vagina, and then she touched the black stone will suck her sin, and that will purify her vagina, and she will be ready for fertility. And this is why the Muslim, the wax inside the stone is in the color of period, as you see. And there, if you look right now with me, you will find there is no stone. The stone is gone. You see, this is additional proof that Muhammad is a fraud. He said this stone will stay until the day of judgment. And now we have only 5 or 6 little tiny stones. The rest you see, this color is wax. It's what? It is a wax. I don't know if you can notice with me what I'm saying. Where is the stone? Where is the black stone they kiss it? There's none. It's gone. This is a rock. Let me make it in different color. Hold on. Something shiny. This is a rock. This is a rock. This is other part. This one is broken into 2. This is 1. This is 1. This is 1. This is 1. And that's it. There's no black stone. Muhammad is a liar. He said this stone will stay until the day of judgment, and now the Muslims, they have to do maintenance every week. I mean, which means if not the maintenance, we have just a group of rocks. You can put it in your hand, you can put it in your pocket, and those are the one who was a stone in the time of Muhammad. What happened? What happened? That the Caliphate al-Qurmuti, he came, he destroyed the Kaaba, he took the black stone and he made it as a pupu stone for more than 21 years. And the funny is, the Muslim, they claim that when an enemy of Allah came to destroy the Kaaba, Allah, he sent flying birds who they throw rocks, you know, at the army of this guy and destroy him. But here we go, al-Qurmuti, he come to the stone, he come to the Kaaba, and he was screaming in the middle of the Kaaba saying, where are you, Allah? Here we go. Your Kaaba is destroyed, your stone is under my ass, and I challenge you to show me your birds. Where is your birds? And I challenge any Muslim to say I'm lying. Going back to our topic. All of those are connected. You know, Islam is a very sexual. And this is why Muhammad, in order to convince his people about his cult, he have to make it a sexual, pervert sexual cult. Boys, beautiful boys. You see, if Islam is not a homosexual religion, why Allah is promising us beautiful boys in heaven? What is the purpose exactly? All right. It's getting hot. Look at this. Oh, what I'm typing here. This is a religion of God. And this religion of God promise you in heaven that you will have little boys. They are devoted to you. And they are so pretty. You see, they are Muslim here. They are saying handsome. Handsome. The word ghulam can be used for someone is young and can be used for someone is horny and he is young. This verse speak about both. They are young and they are in a ghalamah. They are horny. They are in the top of their hormone. And those boys are very, very white. If we go in the hadith, we will see Muhammad give us more details. And what happened to my browser? I click, it's not working. Okay, now. Every Abdul in the heaven of Allah, he will have 80,000 little boy. If you compare the number of the female to the number of the male in the promise, you will see there's no balance. This is the lowest reward, by the way. This is the bad Muslim. This is the lowest reward. So like when somebody says to you, Muslim, they promise 72, this is not true. 72 for the bad Muslim, a homosexual maybe, you know? No, the homosexual is not a bad Muslim actually. Let us say someone, he disobey Allah, and you know, he let us say he took a friend, is a Christian maybe, he's very bad, you know, that's the big sin in Islam. So the last of the people in paradise in position is the one with 80,000 little boy, those boys, and then 72 wives. $80,000 little boys, they look like pearl and they are very white. And then if you read the description of the house and you know, like your tent, you are in heaven now and you are sitting in tent, Bedouin man, you know, Muhammad is speaking to Bedouin, he is a Bedouin like them. So what is your house now? Tent. So now I'm in heaven, but my house is tent. And then, you know, the rest of the promise is very weird. You know, I mean, look at this. That your house, the tent, is the same size all the way from Damascus all the way to Yemen for one guy. The tent, the size of one tent. This is the lowest reward, which means the bigger you are, the bigger your tent will be, and the bigger the number of the servant will be. So one tent for one person is 80,000 little boys, and those boys will never bleed. The Muslim, they will say bleed. They don't bleed from drinking, but this is funny because the one who will drink is not the boys. It is the Muslims. And why they are boys? And you know why you need even servants in heaven? You see, the Muslim, if you watch their videos, there's a very funny video. It's called The Description of Paradise. If you watch it, you will die laughing. The guy, he says, in paradise, your clothes will never wrinkle. Your clothes will never get dirty. You will never need to get shower. You never go to the bathroom. You never asleep. If you wish something will be in front of you, Allah will send it to you right away and in the second. So what the servant for? If nobody want to clean my house, and nobody is going to cook for me, and nobody will bring me tea and coffee, and nobody will do my laundry, and I do not need anything, so what the boys for? Any Muslim can answer? Who is a Muslim can tell us what is the 80,000 little boys for if my clothing will never get dirty, will never get wrinkled, will never even change them? You will wear a green silk clothes for eternity. You wish something, you see a bird in the sky, you say subhanallah, the bird will be a dish in front of you. And the video is there. I mean, the video is I played, by the way, this video in the churches. I did many seminars, and people in churches, they die laughing, especially with my comment about the videos. Description of paradise. Yeah, before I leave here, actually, I'm really liking this. You know, I mean, this Muslim female here, she is a conservative queer. You know, she is wearing hijab, as you see. I mean, she cannot even breathe, but yet she have short sleeves, and she is a queer. I mean, this is really a very conservative religion. Look how you know, she looked like a mummy, and she is just coming from the coffin. What the heck is that? But anyway, Islam is weird, as usual. And, you know, Muslim women, when they dress like this, they try to show that they are modest, and they appeal themselves to men, like, you know, do you see how decent we are? You know? But if you go in the Middle East, you will see the decency for real, how it works. Very decent. #1 buyers for Virgin Again product. Deen. Description of paradise by the Deen Show. Brother and sisters, if I play for you this video, not only you might heart attack, you will have a heart attack from laughing.
Servants, أحبائي, my beloved one, أهلي, my family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we, every chair assigned under your name and his name and her name.
Brother and sisters, after you enter your house, actually I'm skipping the video because if you want to start from the beginning, you will die laughing literally. I mean, I'm not responsible for what will happen to you. This guy in the video, he says, nobody can describe the heaven for you, the heaven of Allah. Nobody. And then a second after that, he said, let me describe it for you.
There is no such eyes can even see something like the Jannah. وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ. Not even the ears, you cannot even hear about the true Jannah because the Jannah is beyond what you are hearing. وَلَا خطر على قلب بشر. You not even imagine, you cannot even describe or think what is the Jannah. Before, let me describe something beautiful about your castle.
Nobody can describe for you. Let me first describe for you your castle. Muhammad, he say tent, the Muslim they say castle. Muhammad, he say a tent made from pearl, the Muslim they say a castle. And nobody can describe what is in heaven. Let me describe for you. And then, okay, describe for us what is in the castle.
Castle.
Ah.
Your castle in the Jannah.
Yeah.
It's something so beautiful.
Really?
Your castle in the Jannah has 4 doors.
Can you believe it? Finally, one architect in the world, he is smart and come with the solution. You have 4 doors. Finally. I mean, why in the world they don't understand that we need 4 doors? Do you see the first privilege? Your house have 4 doors. Hey, Abdul, is that because your mother-in-law is coming so you can escape?
You enter from 1 door.
No way. So I have 4 doors and I enter from 1 door? Don't you think this is too much? And remember, nobody can describe what is inside the heaven for you. Now we have details about, even about the door. A second ago, nobody can describe for you the heaven. And now we have details even about how many doors, how many steps, how many chairs, how many servants, how many boys. Tell us more.
And 1 door or 1 gate, your servants from all kind of servants would come and enter to help you. You have 70,000 servants.
You see the Muhammad the liar? In the hadith he says 80. In the video here they are saying 70. What the heck? What happened? Is that because inflation? So Muhammad he say 80. And then in different hadith he says 70. Is Allah short of numbers now? 70,000 servant, all kind of servant. What kind? What do you mean all kind? What do you mean exactly all kind? And then this guy, he will say to you, if you wish, if you see a bird, there's a password. Guys, honestly, if you want to laugh, here we go. This is the video name. Search for it. Description of paradise, Jannah, Dr. Ibrahim Demilli. And later this guy, he make himself sick so he can stay in USA because they want to kick him because his visa was over. Like, you know. So brothers and sisters, 80,000 boys will serve you. Do you see the sexual abuse of this heaven? Those boys for what? If your food is ready, your clothes will never wrinkle. You see a bird in the sky, you see a tree, the tree will bring the fruit for you. So what the boys will do, the Muslim, they will say, they will serve you wine. What the gift of women in heaven? This is a good question, my friend. I have the answer by Zakir Naik. Do you want to see it? Our friend here is asking, what is the reward for a Muslim women in heaven? Well, they asked the same question to Zakir Naik. Let me find the video for you so we can laugh. Let us see.
Bismillah. Of the translation, especially the Urdu translation, have translated the word Hur as beautiful maiden. If the word Hur means a beautiful it means a beautiful maiden, then what will the woman get in paradise? Actually, the word hur is a plural for ahwar, which is applicable to the man, and hawar, which is applicable to the woman, and it signifies the characteristic of hawar, which means big, white, beautiful eye, and describes especially the whiteness of the eye. The similar thing is mentioned as Azwaj al-Mutahharin, many places in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 25, and Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 57, it says Azwaj al-Mutahharatun, which means companions, pairs. So the word hur is rightly translated by Muhammad Asad as spouse, and also by Abdullah Yusuf Ali as companions. So hur actually means a companion or a spouse. It has no gender. For the man, he will get a good lady with big beautiful eyes, and for a woman, she'll get a good man with big beautiful eyes.
This guy, he don't speak Arabic, by the way. Yusuf Ali, who translated the Quran, he don't speak Arabic, by the way. And if I was there, I will make him shish kebab in 2 seconds, by the way. Because the stupid idiot, the word hur, first of all, by the way, I mean, look how stupid this religion is. As long as the Quran says it will give you a person with the beautiful eyes. So how in the world that became a male or female? It says eyes, like, you know, their eyes, dark, black eyes and very white around them. So what? How this has become male or female? Maybe it's a she-male. But look what happened. Those stupid people, they do not know what they are talking about. And the people, hey, if you go in the Quran, Muhammad is a very filthy man, you know. He gave details about the vagina of those hur. And this is why this by the way, did you see how skinny he was before the money started coming like rain? Unbelievable. He was skinny. Like he's swimming inside his jacket. And now, mashallah, mashallah. Read what the Quran says. The Quran says that those hur, they never lost their hymen, the skin inside their vagina. They did not bleed from the boom boom. And yet this stupid idiot, he said that the word hur has no gender. It is for male and female. Do you see it? Restraining their gallants, where no man, no jinn, because Muslims, they believe shaitan can sleep with their wives. Yeah, you know, there's a story of a Muslim man. He opened the door and he found his wife touching her private part. So he was posting, I can find you the link actually, the story. He was asking the sheikhs, my wife, I opened the door and my wife, she was touching herself, blah, 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 blah. The sheikh, he says to him, A'udhu billah, brother. Obviously, she having sexual intercourse with the genie. So look what the Abdul, they think. It's not because his wife, obviously, she is horny and this guy is not doing his job. It is the genie, brother. The genie, brother, is having sexual intercourse with your wife, brother. Other Abdul, he said that he saw his wife touching herself and he saw fire in her bushes. He saw what? He saw fire in the pubic area. I mean, it's very normal. Shaitan is made from fire. He put his private part in the bushes. What do you expect? Like, come on, just think about it. True story. So if you open the door at your wife and you see a fire in her bushes, brother, don't call the fire department. You read Quran. The only way to get rid of the genie who is doing boom boom to your wife now is to read Quran. So you bring the Quran, her legs is open, and you start reading. You start reading the chapter of Al-Kursi, the chapter of the chair, and you read from the end to the beginning. Unbelievable. So look here. It says, no man, no jinn, yatmuthahunna, has opened their hymens with sexual intercourse. This donkey was saying to the Abdul that the word hur is male and female. I love Islam. It's so beautiful. Islam is so beautiful. I mean, it's the best comedy ever. All right. So the women in heaven, my friend, she will be restrained in her garments as a sex slave, as you see. And look at this funny Quran. I mean, can you believe it? There's a God, he promised you that you will be reclining in your couch. This is having you will recline in your couch. Don't you want to recline in the couch? Oh, brother, all my life I want to have a couch. Because those are Arab Bedouin. They were very poor. Only rich people, they have those things. So Muhammad trying to seduce the poor one. You will have a couch. Seriously. I'm telling you. And you will recline in it. And you will wear silk clothes. And not only that, actually. The word silk clothes, it's not even appearing in the verse. It says istabrak. Istabrak is a word in the Persian language. It's a name for a brand like Gucci. So imagine this God, he wrote his book according to the Muslims before mankind is created, and he's talking about something the kuffar they made. It's called istabrak. Imagine Allah, he add the word Nike in his Quran. Imagine Allah, he writing the word Adidas in the Quran. This is exactly what istabrak is. It's very silly, very stupid religion, you know. And not only, brother, from every kind of a fruit there is pears. Anyone can explain the story for me here? So we have two kinds of apples only. There's millions kind of apples. Why only two? Like supposedly now he is generous. From every kind of a fruit there's pears. Are we eating shoes? Anyway, going back to our story about the funny Muhammad and his homosexuality. So as you see, if a person is a homosexual in Islam, there is no penalty really for him according to the Quran. But when Muhammad, he was start being accused by the Jews that he himself, obviously something fishy about him, he start trying to show that he is a conservative believer. So he start copying things from the Jews. As an example, stoning to death nowhere can be found in the Quran. All of us, we knew, the Muslim, they say the Quran is preserved. If we ask them where the stoning to death, they say, oh, hold on. The Quran have 3 ways of abrogation. 3 ways? Yeah, what happened? Is the verse abrogated? Are you saying we don't follow it? No, we follow it. It's abrogated by saying it, but not by following it. Have you ever heard of a stupid thing like this? So we take the verse from the Quran, but yet we need to follow the verse which is not in the Quran. I mean, who is the donkey will accept this story? The hadith says that when the Prophet died, a goat entered the bedroom of Muhammad. Let us see. So when Muhammad he died, the Aisha, she was busy because finally she got rid of her old husband, and now the new husband or the boyfriend, he is in town. She was writing, sending WhatsApp message, hey, finally he's gone. He can come tonight. The verse of stoning and breastfeeding of adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was with me under my pillow. And when the Messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and a tame sheep came and ate it. If you ask the Muslims who they are in the chat, where is the verse of stoning to death? They say to you, it's abrogated by recitation, but not by following. Have you ever heard of a religion like this? Okay, how you explain to me it's abrogated by recitation? What does that mean? Did your prophet say to you, don't recite it, but you do it? How you can do it if you do not know what it says? How we cancel the words of the law, but we have to follow the words of the law, but we don't have the words of the law. Secondly, the goat, she ate the verse in the paper, whatever material they use at that time. Did the goat eat your memory? Okay, the goat, she ate the Quran, no problem. But don't you remember the verse? Secondly, as long we are here, this is additional proof that Muhammad is a homosexual. Why? He's trying to teach open sex hippie. A woman, her husband is jealous because she have a slave in the house and he stay with her all day long and he is a grown man. The Prophet told the women, give him your boobs. Have you ever heard of such a solution? You are jealous from your wife, or a man who see his wife, your wife alone. So now what we will say? Well, give him your boobs. And he claimed that Allah, as you see, it says 10 times breastfeeding for adult. Have you ever heard of a God? He sent such a holy verse that a man, he should suckle from a woman breast 10 times in different 10 days until he is satisfied. And then what? Still he can have sex with her. Still he can marry her. So what the point? And then Aisha, she start ordering her sisters and her nieces, anyone want to enter upon her have to suckle from her sisters. Can you believe it? So now Aisha, she became an important woman. The husband, he died. She is the most favorite sex toy to the Prophet. And now anyone want to see her, or you can see Aisha, no problem, but you have to go to her sisters. They have their boobs on the table in the other room. You sit in their lap and you start suckling. I mean, imagine if you have a video camera at that time. This is a story here of a guy. He wanted to see Aisha, but he did only 3 suckling. He did not have the 10, so he could not see Aisha. Bad luck. Man, you see, we are not lucky men these days. I wish we were alive in the time of Muhammad. You go to your neighbor, he said to you, you cannot stay with my wife alone. You have to suckle her 10 different times. So you choose a neighbor who his wife is so pretty, and you knock at his door. He said, brother, it is haram for me to enter your house when you are not here. So what about you tell your wife, brother, to suckle me 10 times? And because you are always hungry, you will never give up. And Muslims, how that will stop a desire of a man? Huh? How in the world that will do anything? Since when men, if a woman, she gave them her boobs, they will not get excited? In which culture is that? You know what? Your prophet, he have special intelligence, and obviously he is trying to pervert the society. He's Satan. He's establishing a pervert society. So a woman, she have to wear hijab according to Muslim today, which is not in the Quran, by the way. You see, the Quran says, if we go to the Quran, you see the Quran order the Muslim women to cover their breast, which is very funny. He just ordered them to give their breast. So now we have to cover our breast, but we have to give them our breast. Chapter 24, verse number 31, it says that women, they should lower their gaze. and they have to put something over their breast. That's all. There's no hijab, there's no burqa, there's none of this. The hijab was an order from the caliphate to recognize who is the female slave and who is not. This is why there is a story of a female slave. She wore hijab. Umar ibn al-Khattab, he did beat her because she dressed hijab. And he said to her, are you trying to dress like a free woman? You see the Muslim, they say to you, Islam is against slavery. So this poor woman now, she don't want to enter a place. She is serving those men who they are hungry to rape her. She cover herself, you know, seeking maybe they will not look at me as sexual way. They will not jump on me. Omar, he started beating her. He hit her in her head. And he said to her, are you trying to make yourself equal to a free woman? In the time of Muhammad and after that, the Muslims, they have 100 times more women who they are slaves from women who they are free. This is the truth. Let me see if I can find this hadith in English. I cannot find it in English, but we can find it in Arabic, and we can use Google translation. And this hadith is sahih. So this is a Muslim here in a Muslim website asking how accurate this hadith is. The answer, it's very accurate. It is sahih. He did beat her, and he told her, are you trying to dress like a free woman? Are you? Translation is coming very horrible here. Yeah. A slave woman, she cannot wear hijab. So they order the Muslim women to wear hijab. And actually, you know what? I can find you even a sheikh explaining it. So the Muslim cannot lie and say it's not true. Trying to remember the sheikh name. Give me a minute. See, like, you know, we don't really need to prepare ourselves. We do it just here with you, you know. We just do things as it is. Oh, we have, sorry, we have the in the wrong place. Okay, hold on. So this is the sheikh here, Ahmed al-Qabaiji. Let us search for the hadith. For the video. Okay, this is the sheikh. This is the sheikh. Sorry, the sound is so strong. Let me lower it. This is the sheikh, and he is sitting in the mosque, and they are asking him a question about the hijab. He said hijab is not in the Quran. The Quran says a woman, she have to cover her breast, chest. The hijab was an order from the caliphate, so they can discriminate. They can differentiate who is a free woman and who is a slave woman, because you know the slaves were way more in number than the free one. Too bad they don't have like a translation for the video, so you can read it yourself in English.
يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن ذلك أدنى أن يعرفن فلا يؤذين. العلة موجودة، هذا الحكم منصوص العلة. كان راجع التفاسير.
Actually, and he said to you, even the Quran mention why women, the Muslim women, they have to dress differently, so the Muslim men, the Muslim will not rape them. They will not hurt them, because Muslim, they have license to rape other women. I will give you the video for those who speak Arabic. All right. If you go in the Quran here, this verse is say even why Muslims women, they have to dress differently, so the Muslim men will not target them, and they will target only non-Muslims. Chapter 33, verse number 59. And this is additional proof that Muhammad is a very filthy satanic man. Look what it says here. So, O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women and of believers to draw their cloaks, their you know, like their clothes down over their body, and then it says here, so that they will be better, that they should be known as free, respectable women. Do you see the proof? Did you see the proof? So what Muslim men they do, they force women who they are not free to dress like hookers. They cannot dress in a modesty. They are sex slaves. Muslim women, they never been ordered to have hijab, but their clothes, their dress code is different, so only just to be recognized from women who they are allowed to rape, so they will not be heard. Actually, here you see it says, so as not to be annoyed. What do you mean annoyed? Change the translator just to show you how this religion is evil. It doesn't say annoyed. They will not get hurt. I will change the translator. Very evil satanic cult. Look here, so they will be recognized and not be harassed. Do you see it? So the reason for the hijab, or sorry, for the Muslim code dress, so Muslim men, they can be pervert with only non-Muslim women. So when they see a Muslim woman, they knew her from her clothes, so they leave alone, and they will go after a woman she is not a believer. This is the chapter 33, verse number 59. And actually here even translation is false. It says you will be hurt, they will be raped, not harassed. Change the translator again. Isn't it really enough to prove that this is satanic? Imagine if Jesus says, only if you see a Christian, a woman, she is not a Christian, you can molest her, you can kill her, you can rape her, and you know, you can do whatever you want with her. What kind of religion this religion is? Look, annoyed. Look at the false translation. We go to a different one, Maududi. What a coward man. Look at the translation here. So they will be recognized and not molested. Did you see it? People, do you see it? Actually, maybe we should make a video just for this, so people will learn the truth about the hijab and the clothing of Muslim women. Not because they are modest, because Islam is against modesty. Because Muslim men, they are encouraged to rape non-Muslim women. So the whole purpose is just to recognize them and not molested. By who? By Muslim men. So a Muslim woman, she walk in the street, now she is wearing those clothes, so the Muslim, they will know she is not to touch. Another woman, she is, you know, she is a Christian, she is a Jew, she is a Hindu, she is a Buddha, she is an atheist. We touch her ass, we grab her, we rape her, you know. Actually, even the word molested is not accurate, because other is not just molesting. It is just to hurt somebody physically. And this is additional proof that Muhammad is the last one who can teach morality. And the funny is, the verse after it is speaking about what? Speaking about the hypocrite. I mean, do you see this satanic cult? Who is the hypocrite? The man who is teaching his men. If you see a woman, she is not a Muslim, you molest her, you rape her, you touch her, you give her a finger, you lift up her skirt. Yet he claimed that he is coming to this earth to teach ethic. How many of you took a note about what we just said? This is very important. How many of you took a note? This is chapter 33, verse number 59. Don't send me email later, contact me, says, hey, we can find this thing you said to us before. And here the link in front of you. And actually, this is a Muslim sheikh. I like him, by the way. I mean, I don't agree with him in many things. At the end of the day, he's a Muslim sheikh, but he has a little decency compared to the Muslims. In his video, and he said in the video, because at that time, the Muslims, they have 100 more number of slaves, women slaves, from free slaves. This is a society of slavery. And then the Muslim, they go around between those poor African American, lying to them, says Islam is against slavery, when every one of them, he owned thousands of slaves. To the point, every Muslim, he opened a pimp house. Pimp house. The same chapter 33, Al-Ahzab, is speaking about al-bagha, which mean you can ask your women, the slaves, to do prostitution, but force them not for prostitution. However, if they agree, go for it. And if they don't agree, go for it too, because Allah is merciful. Actually, this is chapter 24, not 33. It was the verse 33. Chapter 24, verse number 33. And those who cannot find match, they should observe their contents until Allah provide them. Blah. Look how decent is religion. And then it says here, you can have sex with whatever you own in your hand. And then he say, and force them not, those who you slave girls, into prostitution if they choose chastity. And if you force them, Allah is all merciful. Do you see it? Do we have anyone here speak Arabic? So I can pause the video in Arabic. If anyone speak Arabic here, I will pause the video for you in Arabic. I will pause it anyway. By the way, this guy, he have a lot of videos, and this guy, he is not ashamed to say how stupid the Quran is. You know, he have videos about how silly those verses in the Quran. How silly. I mean, have you ever heard of a sheikh? And there's a lot of Muslims, by the way, they like him because of his honesty. He's like a Trump between partition. Literally, he's like a Trump between the partition. Everybody is trying to duct tape. This guy, he say it as it is. He says, look how stupid this verse. How in the world this is coming from Allah? Literally, he says that. And he is a sheikh. And he have a lot of followers. If I try to find the, let me see, here we go. Look, anyone who speak Arabic, he will see right away what is the thumb of his video. Al-ayat al-sakhifa fil Quran. The stupid verses in the Quran. This is the name of his video. The stupid verses in the Quran. He read them and he said to the Muslim, I challenge anyone, tell me how in the world this is coming from God. You tell me. And a lot of Muslims, by the way, they get so angry from him. No, he's a Muslim, he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. But he's like, let's say, he is just trying to use his brain. He is just struggling with the truth, like how in the world this is coming from God. You know, if you watch his video, this one, you will die.
ليش احنا ما عندنا هذا علم المقارنة يكشفه كثير من الأشياء.
He's talking about the comparison science, like we have to compare, you know, and compare can make us discover a lot of things. Yeah, I wish I can like play the whole video for you, and you will love it. Yeah. So I mean, but very few of them they dare to mention what he mentioned. But as you see, it's true. Muslim women, they don't wear hijab because hijab is for modesty. Muslim women wear hijab so they will not be molested. They will not be raped. So the Muslim men, they will recognize who is a woman, she is a Muslim, so we don't touch her. And who is a woman, she is not a Muslim, so we can rape her. And I gave you the proof. Anyone remember what chapter we said? What a chapter it says that hijab, or sorry, the Islamic clothing was so the women, Muslim women can be protected from being molested and raped, and the Muslim can rape another non-Muslims. Anyone remember? Yeah, he's a Shia. He's a Shia sheikh, yeah. What chapter we mentioned? About Muslim women, they wear clothing just to be differentiated, to be recognized. Let us see how many of you remember. No, yeah. 35 verse number 24 is sorry, 24. Let us go. Verse number 33 is for prostitution. The one which is for women, let us go back here. All right. The women who they are dressed in a modesty way, as the Muslims they say. Let us open it. Where is the verse? Chapter 33, verse number 59, where it says that you force your wives and your women so they will be dressed differently. So Muslim women, they will not be molested or raped. It's just to be recognized, just to know. It's just a different clothing, so they will be known. So Muslim men will not target them in the street. This is how evil this garbage cult is. This is a chapter 33, verse number 59. Why people keep giving different verses? And you know, we can mention tons of stories about Muhammad, the naked Muhammad. Muhammad, he ran to the door to open a door for a man. Why Muhammad, he go to the door and he is totally naked to open his door? Let's say I have a delivery, I have a friend, I have somebody coming to my door. Can't I dress and then I go to the door and the man is totally naked, wearing nothing? Maybe in the world today, because people they became, you know, somehow they don't care. We live in a pervert world where everything is okay. And the other day I was watching like a live webcam in the street, you know. A woman, she stood in the street in the front of the webcam and she showed her breast. She took off her, she pulled down her shirt, showing her totally naked breast. So there's a lot of pervert, this is true. But we are talking about 1,400 years ago. You see, less than 100 years ago, the bikini was a long pant. And then the bikini or the pant or the underwear start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking to the point they are not exist no more. But Islam shrink always. Islam have no bikini. Islam have no panty. Islam is nakedness. Read with me. This guy, he came to the Prophet. He knocked at his door. And he was not wearing anything. And if you read, it says it clearly that the man, Muhammad, he was totally naked. And the guy here is saying, this is the first time I see him naked and the last time. And then that Muhammad, he hugged him and he kissed him. So now we have a naked man. His name is Muhammad. He is a prophet of God. He go to the door, he opened the door, he's totally naked. He have his dress in his hand, which means he can just put it on. Which means he chosen in purpose not to put the dress on. And while he is naked, he hugged the man. Imagine a man, he is naked and he is hugging you. And you know where the private part will go. And he kissed the man. And then they say to us, Islam teach modesty. What about a man? He put his chest, rubbing it with the chest of the Prophet. He turned his back on the Prophet, and the Prophet is holding him from behind, and his ass in the front of the Prophet, and the guy is rubbing his chest, and both of them, they are wearing no clothes. At least the topless. Is that what the Prophet of God does? Muhammad is tickling a man. What kind of a man Muhammad is? He is playing by tickling the skin of a man from his back. And so this guy was speaking, he was making people laugh. And then the Prophet, he poked him under his ribs with a stick. He said, let me take retaliation. He said, Muhammad answered him, take retaliation. He said, you are wearing a shirt. I am not wearing a shirt. So the Prophet, he raised his shirt, and the man embraced him and began to kiss his side, and he was saying, this is what I want. This is what I want. When Amr ibn al-As was fighting with Ali, both are companion of Muhammad. Do you know the one who was ruling Egypt by the order of the Prophet, what he did? Anyone knows? Two Muslim men, they are companion of Muhammad. And they are fighting by the sword, which means one of them have to die. What the other one he did to Ali? He bent over and uncovered his anus. When Ali is almost going to kill him, Ibn al-As, he lift up his dress, showing his butt and bending over to Ali. So Ali will leave him alone. We mentioned before many tons of hadith. Let us see if we can find this one in English. Maybe not. We can find it only in Arabic. This hadith is about Muhammad. Is the man is like rubbing his chest, rubbing his back with the chest of the Prophet. I mean, you can tell, you can tell how misery this story is. Muhammad sucking the tongues of boys, Muhammad wishing Osama to be a girl, and he's licking his face, and he will dress him like a girl. Muhammad wearing his wife's clothes. We repeated those many times. But as you see, Islam is the last religion can speak of something called modesty. Modesty is not Islam. Islam is the opposite. Satan, he just changed his clothes. So he will make what is not right, right. Like when I say to a Muslim, son of Muta, he get upset, right? Why? If you remember once he said to me, you are a son of Muta. I said, what does that mean? He said, your mother is a prostitute. So your prophet, he gave verse to you in the Quran. So your mother, she can be a prostitute? See, you see how they lie when they say this is marriage? Let us see the hadith, one of them. Look at this one as an example. Muhammad, he is teaching modesty to the Muslims. A Muslim man, he see a Muslim woman, he said to her, let us have sex together for 3 days, 3 nights, how much you charge me? She said $10. They agree, they go to bed right away. No need for witnesses, no need for sheikh, no need for anything. It's a sexual contract. And yet the Muslim, they say this is temporary marriage. How in the world this is marriage? To prove it to them that this is not marriage, just say to a Muslim, you are son of Muta, and you will see how he will be angry. He will be so upset. If this is marriage, I'm saying to you, you are son of marriage. So why are you upset? Because he knew this is not marriage. This is a very clear form of prostitution. If Muhammad was, as Muslim they claim, Abrahamic, well, is that what the Abrahamic believe? That you can rent a woman for 5 minutes? Mimi Hijab, he made a video not long time ago about the Muslim Sunni practice. Muslim Sunni, not the Shia, because usually the Shia, the Sunni, they say the Shia do muta. Muhammad Hijab, in his video, he spoke about how Muslim today, they are having sex, they are Muslim Sunni Sheikh, they marry a woman to a man for 5 minutes, 2 minutes. And I don't believe such a thing. I mean, 2 minutes, even if you're a rabbit, you will not finish in 2 minutes. This guy always exaggerate and lie. You know, when he have an enemy, he try his best to frame the enemy. This is his strategy. He's a coward, son of Muta. So here you will see Muhammad
Hijab.
Hijab.
To do you and your friends, yeah, it's acquiesce to the fact that you guys are going around, yeah, marrying people for 2 minutes and 3 minutes and 5 minutes and 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be.
Salafis are always accused.
Have you ever heard of a religion like this? And now we ask ourselves the question, was that halal or haram? Why are you upset? This is your religion, you coward. Did he say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 hours? Which means the maximum Muslims in London, the maximum marriage is 2 hours.
All you're happy to do, you and your friends, yeah, is acquiesce to the fact that you guys are going around.
To the fact. People, did he say a fact? Did he say a fact? It is a fact, brother. What is the fact say? That Muslim men, they marry Muslim women for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, maximum 2 hours.
Yeah, marrying people for 2 minutes and 3 minutes and 5 minutes and 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be.
Salafis are always.
This is Islam. And those are the Muslims exposing in their own laundry. I hope you enjoy this video and you learn something new today. Don't hesitate to download the video and feel free to put it in your channel. And as you see, Islam is invalid. Muslims, they speak too much of good, but they are the most following the most ugly, false, cult, unethical, child molester man, thief, criminal, untrustworthy. He go to his own son, wife, and he flirt with her. He sleep with the maid in the same bed of the wife. The wife, she come home, she got him busted. He made a promise he will never sleep again. And then he made Quran saying, Allah, he said to me, why you forbid what is lawful for you? So don't forget to download the video, share it with your friends. And I'm not going to complain about you guys are not sharing the videos and not even making comment, because I give up. You see, I do my best. I go every day for many hours. And there's people here, they are even so cheap even to make a comment. Not only they didn't support us, they are so cheap even to make a comment, as if they heard nothing, they saw nothing, and obviously they are nothing. Can you talk about the Jewish Star of David? Arm, hands, and Nazi or Muslim create first? This is a different topic. We can maybe some other time. Yeah, but it's true, my friend. When a Muslim, he make a video, even his video is stupid, he will have 200,000 view. Our video is a treasure of information. And everything we say, it is in the screen. I never mention something without the proofs and the reference. Yet, if it's a Muslim, he make a video, the Muslims, they share everywhere. Even if the one they share his video is really a dummy and stupid. Here, this channel here, we have, I think this one we have 80,000, right? The other channel almost we have, maybe, I don't know, 90 something. So it doesn't reflect. The number does not reflect. How in the world we have 80,000 subscribers, and then we end with a few thousand view and 100 comment? And don't blame YouTube. I think we have to blame ourselves for being lazy and maybe careless. But remember, the one who is careless, those things will come back to you. This religion trying to take over your countries. They will change your law. They will change your tradition. They will force your life to be something else. So if you ignore it, you are just being ignorant. You are being stupid. I'm not fighting for myself. I'm the last one to be worried, to be converted, to be fooled. I know all their garbage, all their laundry in my head. I'm worried about your children and the future of your nation. If you don't fight this cult peacefully by teaching your children, by showing them how stupid it is, time will come and you will be so sorry and you will regret. I warn, and it's up to people to believe or not. And usually people don't listen until the disaster happens. Thank you very much for being here. May the Lord bless you all. And I will see you soon again. Christ is Lord. Islam is a scam. And Islam without lies dies. And we say to Muhammad in his grave, Happy Queer Day, Muhammad. Happy Queer Day.
But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
The Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.